Okay, so after checking out Marathon over the weekend, I honestly think this game might be cooked. Now, originally this was going to be a Marathon video of playing it over the weekend, but I had this idea, mostly because I was bouncing back and forth, looking at the Steam charts for both Marathon and Arc Raiders. And I don't see a lot of good signs for Marathon, just because when this game initially started its server slam, it was around 150k, which is really good. I don't know how many players Arc Raiders had at its server slam, but I would assume it was a lot as well. But the difference between those two games, Arc Raider was kind of a game where people were like, this game's fucking amazing. This is gonna blow up like immediately. I'm buying this day one. And a lot of the clips went viral around the time that the demo came out.
You remember the Hajimagala? Oh. What is he doing? What is he doing? Hey, you see this up here?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
What is he doing?
I don't know. He's pulling some of that fucking Gandalf wizard shit.
And I'm not seeing the same enthusiasm for Marathon, honestly. Like, people played it the server slam day one, and that was cool. And the game is pretty good. I won't say it's bad. A lot of people really don't like it, and I don't really agree. I think it's, like, fine. I think it's, like, a game that if you're really into competitive shooters, you'll enjoy, because I think that's what this game is trying to go for. This game isn't trying to go for the Arc Raiders kind of casual audience, but I really think this game is kind of cooked because Arc Raider is kind of like a thing. It's like the thing of like, we already have a George. It's just like, oh well, now there's this thing already, and I don't even think if like if we lived in a world where it's even like Marathon had come out first, Arc Raiders would have been like, oh, this is how you do the extraction shooter, right? And that's not even true, really. It really is like, this is how you do an extraction shooter for casuals. But when you look at it, it's just like, the differences are just so vast. There's so many contrasts in the way they do things, just in their UI, or the way you loot. I mean, I like looting way more in Arc Raiders than I do in Marathon. But I also think that the social aspect just isn't here in Marathon. Like, everyone is kind of like there to get the loot and kill other teams. Whereas in Arc Raiders, there's just more of a social component, even in teams. There's just way more people just like socially connecting rather than like competitively shooting one another. And I think Arc Raiders taps into a specific audience that a game like Marathon just can't. And it's not to say it's like bad, because I really don't think the game is bad. I think the art style is kind of bad. I think it's like a vomiting like cyberpunk art style, just like splashed on some colors and added some techno cyber shit. But I really think the game itself is good. I just think there's so many things that this game has going against it that I think like when this game comes out in like 4 days, it's already cooked, because people already tried the free thing you already provided and they didn't really click with it. So a lot of people that are going to be buying the game at this point on in time are the people who are pretty much sold. That 70,000 or that 50,000, we'll see how it gets at the end of the server slam. But like that core audience that is like, no, I really like this game. But where this game kind of runs into an issue is like, because Arc Raiders just exists, people are gonna non-stop compare Arc Raiders to Marathon for like ever. Like, there's gonna be comparison videos for this game for like ever. So this is only like kind of like the first portion of the video. The other one will be just talking about Marathon, and the second portion is gonna be talking about Arc Raiders, just because I wanted to kind of just fuse them all together. So I thought, like, I have all this Arc Raiders footage because I wanted to do an Arc Raiders video, but I never figured out the way to do the Arc Raiders video. So I think just doing an Arc Raiders video inside of a Marathon video will be pretty cool. So yeah, let's this one's probably gonna be like, what, 15-20 minutes. So yeah, let's get started with this. So a lot of my thoughts haven't changed on Marathon since the server slam on Thursday, and I think I've kept saying that I think this is a good game, but I think it's kind of cooked. Unfortunately, because Arc Raiders is just a way better game and is way more accessible to just more people. I remember a Scale Up video talking about how Arc Raiders is just kind of for everyone unintentionally while being this extraction shooter, because it's this big social kind of hub kind of game that everyone just kind of socializes in and everything, and that's not really the case with Marathon. I think Marathon is definitely more of a Destiny 2 kind of competitive shooter, and I think that's fun. I think the shooting is actually pretty good in the game, and when you kind of extract, even though it's still really confusing, everything that happens and everything you need to get, I think extracting is really good, especially when you guys are like under fire and stuff like that, which I haven't been yet, but I can only imagine that like when you're kind of in those stressful modes and stressful situations, it can actually be pretty good. But I think the game, at least right now for the Server Slam, is just too confusing for most people to jump into. And the problem is that this is free, and then the actual game is $40. So it is kind of a problem. If you don't want to like play a game like this, you're probably not going to spend the $40 to actually play it. But I do want to highlight some good points. Like, the visuals, I think, are really good. I think the second map is an improvement over the first one that I saw. The first one is just this kind of, like, bland kind of map. That's just, like, your bland cyber kind of punk map. The second one, while still looking kind of similar, actually looks visually nicer. And I think it's because of all the less color they have in there. And it just being kind of like your standard gray kind of military outpost. It looks really nice. I'll say the weather effects also look good. Too bad they can't be like Arc Raiders where they have any effect to my knowledge. Maybe that's something they'll add in the future. But Arc Raider just added hurricanes, and I think that's a really good addition. I haven't done it just yet at the time of recording this Arc Marathon section of the video. But after this, I'll go back and play a little bit of Arc Raiders just to compare the two a little bit. The team stuff is pretty cool. The guns are okay looking. They just look like kind of like your Fisher-Price type kind of like toy Nerf guns. I mean, the one thing I will say, and I hope Arc Raiders does take this into their game, even though I don't know what Arc Raiders is rated, but that blood trail thing is actually really cool and helps you kind of like see where either an enemy is located or a teammate's located, and I think that stuff is like really good, and I think is a good addition to the game. And I kind of want this for Arc Raiders because I think it would be pretty nice, at least like for like players who are like hunting other players and not like doing that kind of game. Having a blood trail kind of for you to do stuff like that is actually really cool. Obviously, it would be harder to do with the arcs because they don't bleed or anything; they just explode. So it would be harder to try to like track down an arc that's like fleeing. But most arcs don't flee anyway, so you should be fine on that front. But it's like, what if you get shot and then the arc tracks your blood? That would be pretty awesome. And I think shit like that in Arc Raiders would be pretty cool. And a really cool thing I saw in Marathon that I was like, oh, that looks nice. That blood trail thing. I don't know if they just get away with it because it's like blue blood and everything's like not real and everything's kind of like a robot. But so I don't think Arc Raiders might be able to do that because everyone's like a real person and you're just having them bleed out. But if they can add it in something like that, that would be pretty cool. But like I said, Marathon, while I think it's good, a good game, I don't think it's as bad as like a Concord or even High Guard when it came out. I think this game is definitely like miles better than High Guard. But I still don't think it's going to overtake Arc Raiders, which I think is the main competition for a game like this. What did they tweet out? That you can have two, like, you can have two servings of something and they still both be good? Well, that is true. Only one game is going to be able to kind of like, it's kind of like how Fortnite kind of like is the main battle royale game. Other games may have tried to become these battle royales like Apex Legends or even like Warzone to some extent, or Battlefield 6's battle royale, but either they came too late in terms of just years, or they came after Fortnite and they didn't hit as well. Even though Warzone's still popular, it's not as popular as Fortnite. And Battlefield 6 just came out like this year, so it's like, yeah, like craze is kind of over. Like, they can be good and people can play them and enjoy them, but they're not going to be what this one game is to a lot of people. And that's what Arc Raiders is to a lot of people for Extraction. And I don't think that Marathon's going to come out, even if it had come out when it was supposed to come out. And I think it was supposed to come out in September of last year. What would have happened was Arc Raiders would have definitely just come out and be like, oh, this is how you actually do an extraction shooter game. Which is, you know, they can be two games that are like similar but do different things for different audiences. But the thing with Arc Raiders, it does kind of do both the solo and team thing. Like, I don't know. The team stuff is usually pretty good in Arc Raiders. You can do like competitive shooter stuff, and you can still have a fun time. Kind of like you never know what you're gonna get in Arc Raiders. You never know if you're gonna get a friendly team or a non-friendly team. Most of the time it is non-friendly, but you still have the moments where somebody's just like, hey, friendly, sorry, me and my friend are just walking around. Where that's not really a thing in Marathon. Marathon's a very, like, shoot-to-kill kind of game, which people enjoy those kind of games, so if you enjoy those kind of games, this is a game you'll probably enjoy, and I foresee this having a pretty good competitive scene. I think this game will actually sell pretty well. My argument is just, like, this isn't anything different or new. It's pretty mid, but, you know, mid games kind of succeed all the time, depending on the game and depending on the audience. And this one is by Bungie, which has a very hardcore audience, and I do feel like this is gonna it's gonna do really well when it comes out in like 2-3 days. I think it's like the 6th or something, so like in 5 days. But that's all for Marathon. I didn't play it too much, probably for like 2-3 hours. Like I said, it's not while I was playing it, I did notice that it just wasn't for me. I'm more of an Arc Raiders person. I'm a more casual kind of extraction shooter person, and I didn't really get on with this game, so I did it for like 2 hours. Did some matches. It looks pretty. I will probably not buy the full game. Marathon's coming out on Thursday, I think, so we'll see how it does. Again, I wasn't compelled to buy the game, but I think people were that played the Server Slam and like really liked it, because it's sitting right now at like 50,000 or something, and I think that's pretty decent, and I think those people would probably be the ones that are going to buy the game day one, so we'll see if it keeps growing from there. They said they're only going to have 4 maps. I think we've only seen 2 of them so far, so we'll see if the other ones look good. I think one of them looked pretty cool. So, yeah. That's been the Marathon Server Slam. I hope you guys enjoyed playing it. Well, not as much as I did, but, like, you know, probably more than I did. But, yeah, that's about it. See ya.